Okay, we're gonna just do a quick video of the Ramcharger test startup and drive. Here it is sitting in the shop. This is where it sits all the time. You can tell it's pretty dry under there. On occasion there will be a little drop of transmission fluid. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I live in Texas and it gets pretty hot inside this metal building. So I just think that these seals are not new. Whoops, almost tripped. Anyways, this is where it sits. All right, let's do a quick walk around. The chrome's in good shape. On the front, there's this little dent right there. Have not tried to repair that. I'm not a metal guy, so I'll just do a walk down of the truck. I mean, it's super clean, super nice. You can see underneath here, all original, and the wheel wells not been undercoated or anything like that. So a little tiny bit of surface rust, but that's a lot of overspray from painting too. So I'm just gonna keep walking around. All right, so underneath here, this is that one rust spot, and that has been treated with OSPHO. It has not gotten any bigger or any uglier than that. You can see the suspension underneath, the frame. All right, same thing with these wheel wells. Everything looks just pretty original. Obviously a little bit of surface rust here where it's lost some paint on the inside of this deal, but I don't drive it in the rain ever, so haven't even messed with it. I've just left it completely original. Here's the rockers and the back behind the tire. So you can see some paint missing from rock chips and whatnot, but nothing that would be out of the ordinary. There's one little imperfection here. It's actually a hole, and I don't know if it was from somebody trying to attach something. It's confusing, but there it is. It's right below the chrome, which is even more interesting, but there's like a little dent and then that little hole. So I don't know if there was an antenna attached or they were trying to do something else there. I'm not sure. Here's the back. So we got a little dent on this bumper back here, and then it also into this chrome. I guess one of the previous owner might have backed into something. Same thing with this spot right here. That's the same little bit of damage. Might have been from the same incident, but you can see where it's kind of bent in. I've not tried to pop it out. This right here looks like you could pop it out from the inside, but I do not do body work. So if I was going to do it, I was going to have somebody do it professionally. Here's a good view of the side of the truck. To be honest with you, that dent never really bothered me, and it kind of took some of the pressure off of it being just absolutely perfect, and I wouldn't want to drive it anywhere and leave it in a parking lot. So just decided to leave it as it was. No big deal. I do have the piece of trim that goes there, though, if somebody does decide to repair that. The side. Got the real rare, it's a roof rack. Still has the wood trim on it, looks great. Rockers here. See, I mean, a little bit of discoloration, but obviously no rot. All the way. I'll go ahead and open this door panel here. All the locks work, of course. Door handles work. The windows go up and down great. No problems. I use this towel because I sit on it, so I don't mess up the seats. Here's the inside. And then also, carpet's not in great shape, but it is original, and it presents well. I think you could probably shampoo it out if you'd like. Here's underneath that back seat. The back seat goes up easily. Or the front seat going into the back seat, I should say. Alright. This truck, as far as the way it runs, it blows my mind how well it runs, to be honest with you. We had a child a couple months ago, and was not driving the truck regularly or even starting it regularly for a couple months. I think it sat for 2 months without me even touching it. Came out here, bumped the key, and it was good to go. Looks like looks like some bird poop or something. Okay. All right, let's go to the interior. I'm gonna roll down this window too, because we'll go for a little drive. All right, doors are great. Carpet's a little worn on the interior right here. Seat is super nice. Seatbelts work. The horn is a little finicky. You kind of have to push it a little harder than you would normally. And then this is the hood release, and it just kind of hangs here. It's like it's almost stretched out, but it does work. So pull that. I'm gonna open this hood up. Oh, gosh, it's heavy. All right, hold on. Just set the phone down. Sorry, folks. There we go. All right, so here's the hood open. Had to do it with 2 hands. I'm not that strong. The one big gripe I've got about this truck is that the previous owner went in and did like some rhino liner material on the inside. And you can see it here. I'm glad they didn't do a great job, because you can just literally just peel it off. It's just more than anything, it's just kind of an annoyance. So for somebody that wants to kind of do that as a little project, I totally recommend doing it. I would just literally just come out here while I was waiting for something to dry and just pick it off. And so it's kind of one of those deals. It's a bummer, but at least it's able to be fixed and brought back, and the paint underneath it still looks good. So we got aftermarket valve covers, air cleaner, carburetor, intake. Everything's been tuned up. Plugs, wires. The hood looks good. There's no rot or rust underneath any of that. You can tell. I mean, just everything's very clean. Obviously, it's not a pristine vehicle, but it is one that is, original paint and honest in that matter of fact. Let's see. Windshield has got some cloudiness in both corners. You can kind of see it here. It's on the other side as well. And then also, if you go up here, you can see that there's like some fading in the seal, and then the seal is lifting a little bit. It does not leak or anything like that. It's just more of an aesthetic thing that probably will need to be addressed down the road if you leave it sitting outside or drive it in the rain a bunch. That was never really anything I ever did. So, like I said, if the weather's not nice, I usually do not even get in this thing. I just never wanted it to have anything bad happen. Go to the back hatch. The hatch opens great. Tailgate comes down easily. The hatch stays up nicely. There's also a lock on the inside of this hatch that you can see right there, and that still works. So I guess if somebody gets locked in the back seat or something. The back carpet's original. Needs some, maybe a good cleaning, or you could just replace it. They do make aftermarket carpet for this. That's the original spare wheel, and it is date coded on the back, and it does match the other 4 original rims that came with this vehicle. All right, and this latch does lock, and I do have the key for it. All right. Okay, now we're back. I was going to do a startup and just wanted to go ahead and stick my hand on all this stuff. There is nothing hot on this engine. This engine is completely cold. I wanted to start it up the way I would normally start it up, so I've left it cold intentionally. Haven't driven it in probably 3 days, 3 or 4 days. So obviously nothing is hot. My hands are a little dirty now, but that's all right. So usually I get in it and I push the gas pedal 5 times, and that gives us a good result every single time. I'm just gonna do it bending over like this. As you see, the gas pedal and brake pedal are in great condition. All right. As you can hear, it's cold right now. It hasn't been warmed up. It is idling a little high. And then once I push this gas down, it'll settle right down. Obviously no smoke at all. We're not burning anything. Just sitting here idling right along. Alright. Everything's just humming right along. And it does start off whenever you start it up, it idles high, and once you let it run for 5 or 10 seconds, hit the gas again, and that kick down just comes right down. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get in it. Oh, actually, let's do the lights first. See the lights work. First off, the light switches. See the lights work back here. Well, it's kind of dim, but I think you can see that they're lighting up. You'll be able to see that. Okay. And we can do blinkers. The other side, blinker with the lights on, obviously. There's nothing else. High beams work. The blinker on the passenger rear side for some reason is a little finicky. Not sure why. You can see on the panel that the blinkers work. So cancels off. They're a little dim during the daytime, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think maybe the bulbs are just older. Let's see. Here's the tack that is from the factory. Let's see if I can get it. I'm going to try and push down on the gas, and you can see it respond. We do have an aftermarket amp gauge down here, just to because there are electrical problems with these, so we want to just make sure we're getting the right current. The AC vents and everything is still here, but the AC is not hooked up in the truck. I do have everything in a box, but I was going to go with aftermarket air conditioning, just more efficient, and to me it just made more sense to do it that way as opposed to try and rework a system that was old anyways. Glove box, amazing condition. Little scratch on top, but good shape. The dash is great. Like I said, back seat. The ceiling's super nice. No scratches or indents or anything. And yeah, So light switch works, obviously. And aftermarket radio. And now I'm gonna go for a ride, so I'm gonna hop in here. Alright, let me put my seatbelt on. It does just have the lap seatbelts. So if you're inclined, you can do the 3 points on here at some point. Alright. Put it in reverse. I'm gonna try and, if I do have to set this phone down, I just want to make sure I'm being careful as I'm backing out, because there's kind of a big pole that runs alongside this, that runs alongside my shop, and I do not want to dent this truck up to match the other dent that we've already got. Alright. So I have, this is kind of a grassy driveway. I do have to give it a little bit of gas to get out of here, but it's not bad. And so what we're gonna do is we're going to back out of here. And then I have lived on kind of a bumpy old street, and then we're gonna take it out on the highway, or like a smaller highway, not like an interstate, and get up to maybe 55 or 60 miles an hour. So, all right, getting in the drive. It's actually surprisingly quiet in here for as big as the engine is. It does have headers on it and the dual exhaust, of course. Stops good, no hands on the brakes. I'm stopping. It's not jerking, anything like that. Sorry, my finger was on the way there. So I'm driving it with one hand right now, videoing with the other, which is probably against the law. But this is America. So right now I'm going 30 miles an hour. The street is 30 miles an hour, and that speedometer is accurate to within 2 or 3 miles. From my experience. I'm not a big speeder anyways, so I usually am driving slower than most speed limits anyway. You can see the tax working as it should. The fuel gauge is full at quarter of a tank. It's actually empty, so it's off a little bit. I just always made sure to keep this vehicle topped off, and I always put fuel additive in it in case it sits. So, all right, now we're gonna get onto like a little county road or road here. I'm gonna give it some gas. You can hear it accelerate. Probably need to roll this window up. Look at that, driving it with one hand on the window and one hand on the phone. Going about 50 miles an hour. The speedo does bounce a little bit, but it's pretty accurate. I mean, you know, she's an old truck. Alright, so I'm going to get into this right turn lane that doesn't really exist. And alright, I'm not going to use a blinker right now because I don't have enough hands. So this is a yield, so I'm going to stop right here. Wait to get on the road. Alright. This thing accelerates great. Cruising on right around 55 miles an hour right now. Speaking of cruise, it has cruise control, but I've actually never tried to use it. 35-inch tires. It does drive. I'm driving it with one hand right now, and I'm not fighting it all over the road. I'm passing cars. It's actually pretty windy because of just some weather activity we've had. So let's get it up. We're going to get up to about 65 right now. The speed limit is 55 here, so we're cruising right at 65 right now. I actually got it. Looks like it's about to turn. Brakes work really well on it. I mean, this truck, it's amazing just how nice and tight everything feels on it. So I'm cruising right around 60 miles an hour, and I'm at about 2,300 RPMs. So, I mean, it's got a low rear end and big tires. If you're going to drive on the highway with this every day, I probably would tell you that you might want to grab something else. I just don't know if that's the best thing for her. I mean, she can do it, but I'm going to switch hands because my arm's killing me. So you can see I'm not chasing this all over the road. We're going 60 miles an hour right now, so. And then I'm gonna go ahead and turn. You can see the blinkers working. It's really faint, like I said. And I'm just gonna pull in here, do a walk around of it. That way you can see everything. And obviously see that there's no leaks or anything like that. So it's a big old truck. It definitely does not drive like a new vehicle. And you know, it's a little bumpier than, and these Ramchargers have a shorter wheelbase anyways. So, but just cruising right along. I'm gonna put it in park right here, and trying to think what else works. The windshield wipers work. Obviously the radio works. We talked about the controls for the AC and heat. That's not hooked up. I never used it. So four-wheel drive controls are here, but the front drive shaft is not attached because when the lift was added, the drive shaft needed to be lengthened, and I knew I was never going to use the 4x4, so I just never messed with it. So it is in a box. All right, let's do a walk around. Underneath it, you can see there's no leaking. We're not leaking anything anywhere. Rock and roll. Once again, these doors open so nice. I mean, just everything works so well. Everything rolls up great. Door locks work, obviously. All right.